5 hours pass in what feels like 5 minutes. Every action and decision seems to connect perfectly to the last, and the friction of doing the work completely disappears. This level of immersion appears in every human brain, from software coders to mountain bikers, once specific environmental conditions are met. This state is a biological reaction. The brain floods your system with neurochemicals like dopamine and norepinephrine, driving rapid pattern recognition. Researchers identified 20 triggers for this mode. Aligning your habits with them builds a 5-step sequence to enter this state on command. Once you apply these precise parameters to your work, deep immersion stops being a random occurrence and becomes a highly reliable daily tool. Step 1 is defining exactly what you are doing. Broad objectives, like working on a project, leave the brain guessing. You need a singular, measurable target, like writing exactly 200 words or finishing one sketch. This graph maps out how we sustain human attention. The vertical axis represents the difficulty of the task, and the horizontal axis measures your skill level. If the activity is below your capabilities, your brain checks out, experiencing boredom. If you face a task wildly beyond your skills, the resulting frustration creates paralyzing anxiety. To enter the zone, the challenge must slightly exceed your skill set. Many use a 7 out of 10 difficulty benchmark, hard enough to stretch your abilities but not break. Now that your task is calibrated, block out a working window of 90 to 120 minutes. During this block, you must actively neutralize every digital interruption, close unnecessary tabs, and turn your phone completely off. This timeline shows why isolation is non-negotiable. A single text alert shatters your concentration, and it takes the brain up to 20 minutes of heavy lifting just to climb back to your previous level of focus. You can have the perfect goal and the ideal level of challenge, but if your physical environment allows your attention to leak, you will never reach peak performance. Step 3 is your ignition sequence. Create a specific physical ritual to signal your nervous system that it is time to work. This can be as simple as taking 3 deep breaths or turning on a specific playlist. Do not wait until you feel motivated. Instead, commit to working on your chosen task for just 5 minutes. Make a single mark on the page or write a single sentence. Expect those first few minutes to feel incredibly clumsy. Your brain will flood you with resistance, begging you to switch to an easier task. That resistance happens because the neurochemicals driving deep focus do not activate instantly. It takes 10 to 15 minutes of sustained, uncomfortable effort for the shift to occur. Pushing through that initial barrier of friction without giving up is a factor that separates chronic procrastination from deep work. Step 4 dictates how you end your session. Rather than working until you are completely exhausted, you need to intentionally stop while you still have mental and physical energy left. Try leaving a sentence unfinished or a specific problem half solved. When you return the next day, your brain instantly recognizes the missing piece, creating a psychological anchor that pulls you right back into the work. This flowchart maps the biological reality of focus. Peak output drains your system, requiring physical movement and deep rest to function over the long term. Prolonged concentration exhausts dopamine and endorphins. You must incorporate high-quality sleep and activity to replenish those chemical stores. A professional schedules rigid downtime to recharge their biological battery. An amateur tries to grind through the fatigue, resulting in slower, lower-quality work with each passing hour. Focus is cyclical. If you refuse to honor the recovery phase, you guarantee your own burnout. Target calibration, absolute isolation, sensory cues, friction endurance, and cyclical recovery. These 5 components function as a single interlocking system for peak performance. By diligently applying these steps, you train your attention to prefer depth over distraction, making total immersion your default state. As you stack these sessions day after day, your relationship with time changes. You stop measuring your progress in scattered hours and start measuring it in moments of deep, accelerated growth. Pick one meaningful task you have been putting off. Set a crystal clear goal, shut down your phone, trigger your ritual, and commit to the first 5 minutes of friction. Knowing the mechanical formula for human focus is a powerful advantage. But that knowledge does absolutely nothing for you until you are willing to sit down and confront the discomfort of starting.